Oh my gosh, you're gonna love this one. The cardigan from a couple videos ago with the skirt from this week's video. That's a beauty. You're gonna love this one. Hello everybody, welcome to Catherine Sews. Thank you so much for joining me today. Before I get into today's video, I just have to say the biggest thank you. Last week my channel reached 100,000 subscribers and I'm still in disbelief. I am so grateful and happy to have this beautiful community, and I can't even believe, like, when I started my channel, I never expected to get to 100,000 subscribers. So it really is like the thrill of a lifetime that we're all here together. And I just love my community so much. And I just really want to thank you. Thank you for 100,000 subscribers. It means the world to me. And now let's get into today's video. So one of my Seattle ladies, you know, the people that came on that retreat with me, we are still in touch every single day. It's amazing. They post so many different ideas and it's really inspiring. One of the members, I think it was Kathleen, posted this skirt that somebody had upcycled and I fell in love with it. And you know, I do a lot of sweater upcycling, so I had a lot of sweater scraps. So I thought, yes, let's do that. I really tried to search up that image and find who the original creator was, because I did want to give them credit. The closest I got was this post somewhere, and I'm not even sure if that's Russian, Ukrainian, what language that is, but I wish I could give credit to that original creator, because I think this skirt is a beautiful way to use up sweater scrap. So I thought I have enough sweater scrap to make a skirt, but no, to make the colors all kind of go together beautifully, and even the weights of the knit, I wanted to have like a really harmonious look. And so I had to go thrifting for more sweaters, and I lucked out. I ended up buying this massive sweaters, and sweaters were just half price the day that I went. And so I got a whole ton of sweaters for $25. Now, some of the friends on that Seattle thread said that I should go to Goodwill bins in the States, and we don't have that in my area. So one of these days though, I will check that out. But apparently it's $1 or $2 a pound, which is amazing, because this stack probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 pounds there, that would have been really cheap, especially since I just am going to be cutting them up. It's not like I need a beautiful garment. In fact, I like it better when there's holes in it, so I don't feel bad cutting up a perfectly good sweater. So most of these are a little bit tired, a little bit pilly, but that's okay, because I don't really even mind when they look a little bit old in this project. Oh, and I also got this little cashmere one, which I thought was just kind of perfect. I love the neckline. It's real cashmere. I thought this was kind of perfect until I went like that in the mirror and realized it's got big holes in the elbow, just on the one sleeve. I did play around with the idea of maybe taking some sweater scrap and patching it. That could be really cute for a different video. This one though, today, I just want to keep it classic gray. I can wear with everything. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting the sleeves off like as a short sleeve, because I run hot anyway. I am always too hot in my classroom. So that'll be good for this. I'll do this after I make the skirt, but this skirt I think is going to be beautiful. So first I'm going to show you how to make the little pattern. It's just a little slightly tapered rectangle. Show you how to do that. Show you how I cut my pieces, and then what I'm ending up with. I think it's really beautiful. I hope you like this one. So if that all sounds good, let's get busy. So to make the pattern, I'm just taking one sheet of computer paper and folding it in half. And here's my very scrappy looking notes. I don't expect that you're going to be able to read this and understand. My total length is 32 inches. And so I took the 4 tiers and divided equally would be 8 inches. But I wanted the top to be a little bit smaller than the bottom. So I made the top one 7, the bottom one 9. And then in between is 7.5 and 8. So for the pattern, I'm going to start with the 9-inch length. So you would just adjust whatever length you want, divide by 4, and then adjust so that the bottom one is a little bit bigger than the top one. So I'm starting with my 9-inch one. So there we go, 9 inches apart. So now at the top, I want to take my waist measurement and divide by 12. For me, I'm putting 2.5 inches. And then at the bottom, your hip measurement, whatever your hip measurement is, divided by 12. So I'm putting 3.75 inches. There, that's it. You can be a little bit more precise if you want to, and you can curve this up into a right angle there and here. So now I'm cutting these, cutting through both layers of my paper. The reason I wanted 1/12 of your waist and your hip is because we're doing it on folded paper. So when you open it out, this is now 1/6 of your waist and 1/6 of your hip. You're going to use 6 panels to get your total waist and total hip in that top tier. For each tier, you're just adding one more tapered rectangle, so you just get that gentle flare. So for me, my top tier is 7 inches long, and I want 6 of them. My second tier is 7.5 inches long, and I want 7 of those. My third tier is 8 inches long, and I want 8 of those. And my bottom tier is 9 inches long, and I want 9 of those. I'll be cutting 9 pieces like this for the whole bottom tier. On the bottom row, I want to have ribbing on each of the pieces, so I don't have to do a hem, and so it kind of looks a little more finished. So I'm cutting up the side seam just on one side. And then this is my pattern for the lower level, like the bottom tier. And I want to include the ribbing. 9 like that for the bottom level. And they all have ribbing at the bottom. So there's 3, 4, 5. That one does have ribbing. 6, 7, 8. So one more on the bottom level. There's my 9 for the bottom row. Once I've got 9 of those, I'm going to take 1 inch off the top. I don't want to take it off the bottom because I don't want my piece to get skinnier and skinnier. I want to keep that flare. So I will take 1 inch off the top. So now it's 8 inches long. And I'm going to cut 8 of these for the second tier from the bottom. 8 of those, and I don't want ribbing on the top or the bottom. This is for the second from the bottom level now. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I've cut 2 of this one, but I only want 1 in this level. I'm going to just put 1 aside and shorten it up for the next level. 1 more for this. You can fold in the middle of your paper and put it down, like if there is an obvious stripe or an obvious rib, put it in the middle like that. Okay. Then I'll cut 7 for the third tier from the bottom. And 6 for the top tier. After I have my 8, I'm going to take my pattern piece again. I'm going to take now 1/2 inch off the top. It is just 7.5 inches long. Ignore that. I made a mistake. I almost took it off the bottom. Don't want that. So now this piece is 7.5 inches long. And for my skirt, I want 7 panels this big. And again, no ribbing on this one. And then for the top tier, I want to take another 1/2 inch off. And so now it is just 7 inches long, and I want 6 of these. Okay, so after cutting all my rectangles, this is what I've ended up with. So I've got 6 pieces that are 7 inches long. Then the next tier is 7 pieces, and they're 7.5 inches long. The next tier is 8 pieces, and they're 8 inches long. And then the bottom tier is 9 pieces, and they are 9 inches long. So that's going to give me, after I sew that all up, that's going to give me a skirt that is 32 inches long. And I think that this placement is going to be nice. So I'm going to clip them all together as they are. I'm just going to grab 2 pieces from the top tier, put them right side together, and then add a couple clips. Now I'm going to be doing this all on my serger. But if you don't have a serger, you could use the overlocking stitch on your regular sewing machine. And you know what? I'll put a link in the description to a video I did recently where I explained that overlocking foot and overlocking stitch. So the link I'll put will lead you right to that part of that video. So another decision I had to make was whether I wanted to put these pieces right side together or wrong side together. If I wanted the serging to be on the inside or the outside. And I decided to go right side together so the serging is on the inside, just because with all of the different colors, I just think it could be too much for my own aesthetic to have the serging also on the outside. Scrappy knit pieces with the serging on the outside can get to be a little crazy looking. So for me, I prefer, I think, the serging on the inside. So there's tier 1 all clipped together. So I'm going to take that to the serger and serge that up. That'll be the top tier. Then I'll do the same thing for the second tier, third, and fourth. So here we go. I'm just serging these together just right along the edge. I'm really not cutting off anything. I've got regular needles in, and I'm just using the regular sort of default stitch. My differential feed is at 1 for now, but if I find it going wiggly, then I will tighten up that differential feed to keep it laying more flat. The stitch length I've got at 3.5, so really no big changes here. Just want to make sure I'm catching both edges so I don't end up with little holes. This one's the chunkiest knit of all of them, but I think it blends in okay. Okay, and then just like that, the top tier is done. And I'm actually going to try that on just to make sure it's fitting in a flattering way right from waist to kind of upper hip. Okay, the top tier is done. I tried it on. It fits nicely, but I did notice the seams are a little bit wiggly. So all I'm doing to fix that is turning my differential feed up to about 1.25. And if that's still wiggly, I'll go to 1.5, but I think we're looking pretty good. One other thing that I cut that I didn't show you yet is from one of the sweaters, I cut a piece of ribbing. So this is like the bottom edge of the sweater. So it's a nicely finished edge. That's going to be my waistband. And so at any time, I can serge the ends of this together and then attach it. Maybe I'll do that at the end, but I did want to show you that you want to keep ribbing from one sweater for the waistband. Okay, I'll put these two aside and then we're on tier 2. Now this one knit, which you'll see this whole sweater appear in a future video, and you might see some of it at the end of this video, but it's a little bit sheer and I was worried about that. So I just cut a piece from this sweater to be its backing. So it's just going to have like a double layer there, just so I don't have to worry about it being see-through. Alrighty, so those two edges will stay together. And then I'll put the third one on. Those two main fabrics are right side together. And then this piece is from that purple cardigan that I did a couple videos ago. And I included the pocket. I thought that might be fun. That has to go together. And then again, I just need to make sure all my edges get caught in there so that I don't have any holes in my pocket. And then the rest is just going to get pieced together the same way the top tier did. And then close it up. So there are 7 in this layer. And that's the one that has the backing. So again, it's 3 edges going together. And back to the serger. The differential feed is at 1.25 now, and we'll see if that makes it less wiggly. Still a little wiggly. I'll go to 1.5. And I'm not worried about the steams that I've already serged being wiggly because you know what? It's going to steam right out with the iron anyway, so I'm not too worried. So the second tier is done and looking good, and the seams are still a little bit wiggly, so I'll take that differential feed up closer to 2. Put this one aside, and then tier 3, same idea. Oh, and there's another pocket going into this layer. This is with the differential feed at about 1.75. That seems straight now. It doesn't seem wiggly. Okay, there's tier 3. And tier 3 is a lot less wiggly. Those are looking nice and flat now. So 1.75 on the differential feed seems to be the way to go. And then it's all about the bottom tier now. Now I wanted to show you 2 things on this bottom tier. One is that this is the bottom section of a cardigan, and I thought it was kind of cute to include the buttons, and I could even leave some unbuttoned if I wanted a bit of a slit there, but I just thought that was cute. But for each of them I included ribbing, so they all are ending with ribbing or like a nicely finished edge like this. So that means that I'm not going to have to hem this skirt. It's already finished at the bottom edge. So that means when I do my serging, I don't want to have the tail of serging thread there. I want to do my little trick of doubling back on each one so I get a finished edge on all of those. So let's do that. And I really want to make sure those bottom edges line up nicely. Like there's no wiggle room. I don't want any difference there. Oh, and by the way, yes, I did pre-wash all of these sweaters. I washed them on gentle and hung them up to dry all in the same way so that that's how I can wash the skirt afterwards. I know that they all survived a gentle wash and hanging to dry. And I'm clipping those buttons together just to make sure, especially when I join the tiers, that those are lined up nice. Clips are definitely superior to pins for a project like this. So if you don't have a set of clips, look in the description. I've got mine listed. You can get them on Amazon, really reasonably priced. I'm going to try this one starting at the finished edge and just see. I think that that's the method I'm going to like best. To have a finished bit of serging at this finished edge, if you haven't already seen this trick, here we go. I'm going to just serge like a couple stitches. That's it. So leave the needles down, lift the presser foot up, bring that tail of thread, kind of like shimmy it off a little bit, and then bring it right under the presser foot, down. And I think it's helpful. See the two bumps on the presser foot? Those are the needles. So have it to the right of the needles or right in the needles. You don't want to miss it over here. You want to be sewing right on top of that. And then you can cut it off. So again, I'm starting right up, like snugging that right underneath the presser foot. Serge a couple stitches, and then needles down, lift the presser foot, shimmy, shimmy, and then bring it right under, presser foot back down, and then serge over that tail of thread. So that gives me a nicely finished end of the serging. I don't have to fuss around with weaving my serger tail through, and I don't have to worry about it unraveling. Okay, there's the bottom tier all done. Okay, so there's the bottom edge. I think that's really cute, and I think that will go right at the center back. So here's the center front. And then the next tier up, I definitely don't want two zebras together or two of the teal ones together or two purples together. So I also don't want the seams lining up, right? I didn't want it to look like separate columns. I want it to look patchy like that. So on this side, that's looking pretty good. I'll just double check the other side. I don't want this. So I'm just going to play around until I like the look on both sides. Looking pretty good. Oh, no, I'm back to that. Shoot. Okay, that seems pretty good. So when I like the alignment, then I'm just going to flip the bigger one up over the smaller one. Good. Clip all the way around, and it just seems to fit nicely. So I think our math was good. It is pretty forgiving because of the stretch. Okay, and I'm serging around that whole circle. And again, I just want to make sure I'm catching both edges. And I can trim threads as I go. And just overlap where I started and chain off. Okay, it's getting exciting. So I've got a pocket here and then another pocket here. And I think that that is okay. I think this one is actually in a useful place, kind of on my right hip. I think that is going to be okay. It looks good on the inside too. So if we're fine, then we just flip the big piece over the smaller one, bring those top edges together. This is the one with the buttons that I kind of want to be the center back. Same idea again, right? So I'll be clipping and serging around this whole circle now. So I'm just kind of shifting around until it feels like it's going in evenly. I don't want there to feel like there's one place that's having to stretch a lot. I want it to go in more or less evenly, and that seems good. And on this tier, I do have similar colors coming together. I hope that ends up looking fine. We'll see. So this is starting to look like a quilt pattern, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted it more random. I'm going to take that tier off. If I've never shown you how to take serging out before, let me show you right now. It's actually not that bad. So, you know, on the serger, there are 2 needles. I'm going to cut both of those needle threads. They're the stitches that just look like regular stitching. It just looks like a straight stitch. And if I just pull those out as much as I can until the thread breaks, and then there's the second needle thread. It's not the loop, it's the stitch holding down the loop. And then once you get the 2 needle threads out, the rest just falls out. So no big problem. If you're not happy with it, it is worth rearranging, because it only took about 5 minutes to put in, and it's only going to take about 5 minutes to take it out. So it's worth doing. I should say that there's a good side and a bad side to serging. You want to be able to see both those needle threads. If you can't, if it just looks all like loops, then that's not the right side. You want to go to the side where you see both needle threads. Okay, so it took about 5 minutes to open that up and about 5 minutes to put it back together. And so I think it's so much nicer now. It's a lot more random. So I still have a pocket on each side, but how I had to solve that was by deciding that these buttons were not the center back. They're going on the side too, which I really like. I think that's great on the side. So no problem there. So now last tier. And one thing I should mention, right? Hopefully it's very clear that in each tier you've got a wider edge, and of course it's the wider edge that's the bottom, so just keep that in mind. Don't get them flipped upside down. Alrighty, so let's make sure this goes on in a random way. I don't want that. That would be fine. Oh, that's maybe prettier for the front, so I'm happy with that. And yes, that'll do just fine for the back. Okay, big one flips over, and then same thing, clip around and serge around. I have to be careful here because I've got a little bit of a clip in that square. I just need to make sure I catch it into the seam. I'm going to start at that little cut just so I don't forget. And I think I got it, but if I didn't, I'll get it at the end. I barely caught it. So when I overlap and chain off, I'll just come a little bit closer in at that spot. Okay, there's that little clip that I was worried about. So I'm just going to make sure I come in just a little closer. There, that's got it. Good. I think I should try it on before I put the waistband on. It's looking pretty beautiful. So the waistband is the last thing. And I could do this in the same way that I did the bottom tier, right? Where I start there and pull the thread around. But I just want to show you one other trick. You might have seen this before. I'm starting at the unfinished edge, coming up to the finished edge. And I want to go until my needles are just off the edge. Just off of that finished edge, lift, give a little wiggle, and then flip, and then come back the other way. And on something this size, I'll go the whole way, but if it was the bottom of the skirt, I would just go a couple inches and then chain off. Good, so that's just another way of getting that finished edge at your finished edge. Okay, so the waistband is joined together. That's going to go up there. Just the way my seams fell because of the ribbing I had to work with, it's not equal. So I'm going to put the little smaller section on the back. And so that's going to be like that. So I'll turn the whole skirt inside out. I'll still be giving this a little bit of a steam, and I think that'll do good things for it. Okay, so now the waistband is inside the skirt. And same thing, just clipping around and serging. So this whole project has been done on the serger, right? I haven't used the regular sewing machine for anything. And if you don't have a serger, I think you'll be fine with your overlock stitch. If you do want to treat yourself to a serger, maybe this Black Friday or for Christmas, use my affiliate link at qualitysewing.com. My dream serger is there, which is the Baby Lock Victory. I love that serger. That's what I have in my classroom. I've got 8 of them in the classroom. They're beautiful sergers. So right now at qualitysewing.com, my dream serger, the Baby Lock Victory, is 40% off. And use my code CS10 to get an extra 10% off. So you'd get the machine 50% off, which is amazing. And there's a free bundle that comes with it. And the bundle includes the inspirational guide, as well as the creative Serging novelty thread pack, which sounds like fun. So that's a pretty sweet deal. So maybe this is the year you treat yourself to a serger. That is so much fun. If you want to tighten up the waist, then just take some skinnier elastic and then serge it right on top of that seam. I've measured this elastic so it's a little bit more snugger on my waist. And I've just clipped it in 4 places, and then I'm going to stretch to make that meet the edge of the waistband and serge. And that'll just snug up that bottom edge of the waistband. Okay, that should be good. Oh yeah, putting that little elastic in there makes the waistband feel a lot more secure. That's good. So I'm going to take that to the ironing board and give that a steam all over. I'm not really concerning myself with which way I'm pressing those seams, because honestly, they're going kind of every which way. But I just want to give that a little bit of a steam just to get them to lay really nice. Good. And one of these days I'll get myself a clapper, but in the meantime I just let it cool like that. Trim any threads as I'm waiting for it to cool a little bit, and then make my way around the whole thing. So this is the inside of the skirt, of course, and as I'm looking at it, I really am glad I did the serging on the inside. I think it looks much nicer. I wouldn't really want all this serging on the outside. Okay, looking beautiful. So now let me just shorten the sleeves on that sweater, and then I can put it all together. I made 2 little lines with my scrap of soap. And so that's where I wanted to finish. So I will cut it 1 inch below there. I've got a right angle here on that side of the sleeve, and then just pivot a little bit till I get a right angle here. And cut. Now this I'll be doing entirely on my regular machine, not the serger. What I've got is inch wide elastic, and this one has that cute little scallop edge, so I might as well use that. It's not going to show except on the inside, but I might as well put it to use. So I'm putting my cut edge of my sweater right along that little scallop edge, and I'm using the triple zigzag, 5 in the width and 4 in the length. So a nice big triple zigzag here. I just want that little scallop to stick up a bit because I think it's kind of cute. Okay, and then I want to give that elastic just a little stretch. So if I put 3 fingers on it and I stretch it to 2 fingers, just like that. So I've only got 2 fingers on the needle plate now, 3 fingers to 2 fingers, and then put that cut edge on top of that scallop and go. And I make sure I don't stretch the sleeve. And I'm just getting back to where I started. I'll overlap the elastic a little bit. Both sleeves like that. I recently hemmed the sleeves of this sweater and I did not put elastic, and I instantly regretted it, and now I need to take that apart and redo that one. Now I'm going to the lightning stitch, and I'm going to use the settings of 1.5 in the width and 3.5 in the length. So it's just sort of making that a little bit bigger. And when I turn this up, you do see that white scalloped edge. That is entirely optional. I'll cut off this part that is sticking up too much. Showing that little white edge is just me being sort of silly. Here we go. So now the lightning stitch is just kind of going on top of that triple zigzag just to give me more coverage of my raw edge. And to hold that hem up in a nice way that still stretches. You want a good match in your bobbin because that's what's showing now. Okay, and that just gives a nice solid finish to that sleeve, right? That looks really good. Okay, and again, I'll give it a little steam when I'm done both sleeves. That was really fast, and that was just so much fun. It was such a pleasure to do. The little cashmere top with the short sleeves, that's good to go. But the skirt just, it's so cozy. It's like wearing a blanket, of course. It's just so cozy, comfortable. I really love the way it looks. Just that gentle flare. Of course, you could do more of a flare. You could gather your tiers, like you could really have fun with this and make it your own. I want to show you that I'm wearing this with my new vivaia boots. I got these as part of their Black Friday sale that's coming up. They are so comfortable. I love the style of these ones that come up right to the kneecap in sort of a sock style, or you can scrunch them down, which is cute too. They're so comfortable. They're water resistant, so I can stomp around. I wore these to the cottage recently. My feet stayed dry and cozy, and I think they look fantastic. You know, when you thrift and upcycle all of your clothes, you really want a sustainable shoe to go with it. And vivaia footwear is made from recycled water bottles. It's fantastic. Use my code CATH15 to get an extra 15% off during their Black Friday sale. So I'll put my affiliate link for that in the description, and also my affiliate link for Quality Sewing, because you might want to think about treating yourself to a serger, especially during their Black Friday sale. So both affiliate links and both codes will be in the description. And yes, I just love this skirt with the purple cardigan from a couple weeks ago. I used the same patches, so it really just ties in so beautifully. I am so thrilled with this outfit. And again, that's the beauty of upcycling, right? I am never going to see anybody else in the world with this outfit. It's just completely personal and unique to me. And you can do it yourself as well. And I hope you try and let me know if you do. I hope it goes well. And until next time on Catherine Sews, you take care.